Good morning, students. Welcome to the virtual classrooms. In the last lecture, we were discussing it related to the atomic and ionic radius. Today, in the periodicity, the characteristic that we are going to study, that is related to the ionization energy. Now, ionization energy, we are going to write it in short as IE, ionization energy. Now, what is ionization energy? Now, when we take it as an atom, right, in our lower standard we have studied that sodium gets converted into sodium ion by losing one electron. Na gets converted into Na plus, that is Na plus electron. Now, how this electron is been separated? To remove the electron from it, we need some energy to be given to the atom. The amount of the energy that is required to remove that electron, it's considered to be as a ionization energy. But now here you have to be very careful that only writing it as an amount of the energy required to remove the electron, it's not enough. The reason is, we know it that we are going to get it as sodium in the form of solid form, right? If I want to convert it into liquid, I need energy. Now sodium liquid, it's converted into gas by giving some amount of the energy. So while converting the sodium solid to sodium gas, I utilize some of the certain amount of the energy in it. That energy is not included as an ionization energy, because when you want to remove the electron, this sodium was in the solid state. You started to give the energy at that time, the electron was not removed from it. So to write the answer, to write the exact definition, we write it as ionization energy is the energy required to remove an electron from a neutral gaseous atom to form a positive charged ion. That means it should be neutral gaseous atom. Now in this case, if I write it as sodium is in the gas form and the amount of the energy is utilized, then this energy will be considered to be as a ionization energy, right? So ionization energy is defined as amount of the energy required to remove an electron from neutral gaseous atom. It's necessary to write an electron from a neutral gaseous atom to form a positively charged ion, right? Now this is the ionization energy. Now on what factor does it depend? If I need an energy to remove an electron, if the radius is big, that means the nuclear charge, the force of attraction between the nucleus and outermost electron is less. So energy required will be less. If the size is very small, then the nucleus and the outermost electron will be quite closer to one another. That means the attraction will be more. And if the attraction is more, energy required to remove that electron will be also more. Hence, we can say that the ionization energy in a periodic table depends upon the first factor as the atomic size. Second, effective nuclear charge, that is the force of attraction of the nucleus towards the electron. If the force of attraction towards an electron is more ionization will be required, and that will be more if size is small. So we can say that ionization energy is inversely proportional to the size. If size decreases, ionization energy increases, right? So ionization energy and atomic size are inversely proportional to each other. Now let us think it, that I want to move it from ionization energy for left to right in periodic table. What will happen if I am moving from left to right? That means as per a routine schedule that we are taking an example, we are taking always an example of Na, Mg, Al, Si, P, S, Cl, Ne. Sorry, we will be having it as an argon. Now, what we will be having it? Left to right, atomic size, decreases. It becomes smaller because we know that electron enters in the same orbit, and when the electron is entering in the same orbit, atomic size, it shrinks because of the attraction between the nucleus and electron increases. Okay, now moving from left to right, atomic size decreases. That means we are writing it as nuclear force of attraction. Nuclear force of attraction increases. Now if the force of attraction is increasing, the energy required to remove that electron also increases. So moving from left to right, ionization energy increases. Right? So that is the particular trend that we will be getting it as moving from left to right. Right? Now take it as for top to bottom. This was for left to right. Now let us take it as ionization energy for top to bottom in periodic table. Now what will happen when we are talking about top to bottom? Lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium. For top to bottom we are going to get it as LiNAK, Rb, CSS and one of the example. Right? You can take it as any of the other example. But what we will be having it? Atomic size, increases because electrons are all entering in the new orbit. We know it here, we write it as 2s1, 3s1, 4s1, 5s1, 6s1. That means the electrons are entering in the new orbitals, and as the electrons are entering in the new orbitals, the atomic size increases. As the atomic size increases, nuclear force of attraction will decrease. Now if the force of attraction is less and I want to remove that electron, that means I need very less amount of the energy. So top to bottom what will happen? Ionization energy decreases. So for any given period, ionization energy left to right increases, whereas for top to bottom decreases. Right? Okay. Now this is a general trend. Now some factors that we want to remember, because they become like an exceptions that we did it in other trends also. Certain exceptions are there. Similarly, for the ionization energy also, we are going to have it something to know. Now what is it? Like if we are having it as a nitrogen, oxygen, I am having it as an atomic number 7, atomic number 8. That means I will be moving from left to right. What does this general character shows? In common, ionization energy increases. That is, nitrogen should have less ionization energy than oxygen. Right? Nitrogen should have less, but we have nitrogen greater than oxygen. Now what is the reason behind it? Again, here the same factor that we studied here previously. Here we are having it as an 2s2 2p3 2s2 2p4. It's an half filled. Half filled orbitals are highly stable, and when the half filled orbitals are having higher stability, ionization energy also increases. So to remove the electron from it because of half filled stability, nitrogen has higher ionization energy than oxygen, right? Okay, now that is a general factor that we remember. Now within it we know that certain elements are there which are having a tendency to donate 1 electron or 2 electron or more than that, right? As we are having it as in certain elements, particularly an example of aluminum. Ionization energy within an element. This is the third factor. This is additional factor for ionization energy. Ionization energy within the atom, right? Now this is not going to have every time a neutral atom. When you take it as an example, aluminum, it's a neutral atom, right? From this I want to convert it into Al plus. So the amount of the energy that I am going to utilize it, I am going to write it as IE as a 1. Ionization energy required to remove the first electron. Now what will happen? Here there were 13 protons. Here 13 electrons. Right? From this 1 electron is removed. So left out is 13 protons, 12 electrons. Okay. Now this is your first ionization energy within an atom. Okay. Now if I want to continue it and I want to remove the second electron, ionization energy to remove the second electron, that means I want to convert it into Al plus 3. Now this ionization energy is not from the neutral gaseous atom, but still it is within the atom. Now in this case what will happen? Here the force of attraction of the nucleus towards the electron has been increased. There are 13 protons which are positively charged, and there are only 12 electrons with a negative charge. So that means the force of attraction of the proton towards the electron has increased. Attraction of proton to electron increases. Now in that case this one will become 13 proton, 11 electrons. So here the force of attraction has been increased, so amount of the energy required to remove that electron will be more, correct? So in that case what will get it? IE1 will be less than IE2. To remove the second electron I need more ionization energy. Now let's think it for the third electron to be removed from it. If I want to remove the third electron, I want to make it as Al plus 3. That means I am going to remove the third electron. At that time what will happen? Still the force of attraction will be higher than this, because now 13 protons and 11 electrons are there. So energy has been still increased. As a result what will happen? You will get the character as IE3 is even greater than IE2, and that means the same character you can extend it. So from this what we can say that ionization energy of the first electron will be less than that of the second ionization energy will be less than the third, and as the number of electrons are removed, more and more energy will be required. So energy will keep on increasing, ionization energy will go on increasing if we are removing the electron from the same orbit. Now this is the one of the example. Another example, a moment ago we saw it that nitrogen and oxygen. The first ionization energy, I want to go it for first ionization energy. What is the trend that we got it? Nitrogen has less energy, sorry, more energy required to remove an electron than the oxygen. Ionization energy of nitrogen is more than that of the oxygen. Now if I go it for the second electron, second ionization energy, that means from this nitrogen to nitrogen plus and oxygen to oxygen plus, I got it in this trend, we got it as N is greater than O. But now I want to go it for the second one. I want to make it as plus 2, O plus 2, right? And I want to compare what is the ionization energy of the second electron. I don't want to compare the ionization energy as first and second electron. I want to compare the ionization energy of the second electron, energy required to remove the second electron from the nitrogen and second electron from the oxygen. So in that case, what we will be getting it? Nitrogen will be less. Now why it happens? So let's see the configuration. When we were having it as a nitrogen in the neutral form, we were having it as 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. Oxygen was having 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. After the removal of one electron, when it removed the one electron, it becomes 2. By removing the one electron, it became 3. That means again this has become half filled. As a result, stability of the oxygen has now been increased, right, as compared to that of the nitrogen, because nitrogen has lost its half filled stability. So second ionization energy of oxygen will be more than the nitrogen. So this can be one of the key reasons that can be asked to you, that is the first ionization energy of nitrogen is greater than the oxygen, while the second ionization energy of nitrogen is less than oxygen. Explain, giving in reason. This is your one of the reason, right? Similarly, you can be asked what is the ionization energy trend within an atom if more than one electrons are removed. Explain, giving an example. And the third one is write down the ascending or descending order, right? Okay. Now during this case, there is a one major question also, that should we learn the ionization energy that are given in our textbook? I can't remember all the ionization energy of each and every atom or even an ions, because the number of the ionization energies are going to be very, very large number of ion formations will be there. So all of them cannot be learned. So what to do it? Suppose in exam they may ask me that if the ionization energy of the nitrogen and oxygen are written respectively in the order, which is the correct order? So in that case, I don't want to learn that values, but I should be able to recognize that whose value is larger, whose value should be lower. Accordingly, I will just justify with my answer, right? For an example, suppose it is given to you nitrogen and oxygen. Nitrogen has ionization energy dash, oxygen has ionization energy dash. Which is the correct answer for it? And it may be given out 76, 63, or may be written out 63, 76, 76, 76, 63, 63. Then in that case, which one will be the correct answer? So in that case, I will just recognize that nitrogen should have a greater than that of the oxygen, right? Nitrogen 76, 63 oxygen. It's a possible. Nitrogen is greater than oxygen. Here nitrogen is less than the oxygen. Here nitrogen oxygen are same. Nitrogen oxygen are same. So these are not the possible characters. This is the possible. So I did not remember the value. Just through the concept I wrote the answer for it. So like that a question can be there for you, right? This is for the ionization energy. Okay. Second, and we will go through the another one, that is electron gain enthalpy. Right. Now ionization energy was an endothermic process. endothermic. I needed to give the energy. The second trend that I am now going to discuss with you is electron gain enthalpy, which is exothermic. Electron gain enthalpy. It is also termed as electron affinity. Electron affinity. Electron gain enthalpy is also named as electron affinity. Now what is it? It's written out as amount of energy released by gaining of electron in a neutral gaseous atom. See, in the previous one we wrote it as amount of the energy required to remove an electron. Here what we are writing it? Amount of the energy released by gaining an electron. So those elements which are having a high tendency to gain electron, they will lose more energy. Those which are having a low tendency to gain electron, they will lose energy less. Right? It's a more requirement, more energy has to be given. So if I move from left to right, for left to right tendency to gain electron increases, as we know that left to right non-metallic character increases. That means the non-metals are having a tendency to gain electrons. Metals are having a tendency to donate electrons. Right? So non-metals are having a more tendency to lose electrons. So they will give out more amount of the energy. Here the equation, if I am writing it, there is an atom, it will gain an electron, it will become a negatively charged, during which it will lose energy. It's going to be an exothermic. Right? Now in many places this energy will be indicated not as a plus energy, they will write it as delta H negative. So that is exothermic. When energy is released out, it's written out as minus charge. So it is written out as electron gain enthalpy is negative. Right? Okay. Now that is for left to right. Non-metallic character increases. So what will happen? Tendency, that is electron gain enthalpy, electron affinity increases. So left to right electron affinity increases. Right? Okay. Let's go it for the top to bottom. Now when we are going it for top to bottom, what will happen? Size increases, metallic character increases, attraction decreases. That means they have more tendency to donate electron from top to bottom. Now if they are having a more tendency to donate an electron from the top to bottom, what will happen? Top to bottom electron affinity decreases. Good. Top to bottom electron gain enthalpy decreases. Right? So left to right, electron gain enthalpy increases, top to bottom decreases. Right? Okay. But here again, like every trend, here we are having it particularly for the two periods. Sorry, for two groups, we are having some exceptions. Which are those two groups? Now those two groups, that is the first group, the first exception. What is it? Group 17, 16, 16, 17. First of all, let us talk about 17. 17 group, we are having it as a fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. As per general trend, electron affinity decreases. That means if I want to write it as per the general trend, what we wrote it, electron affinity decreases top to bottom. So what will happen? F should be greater than Cl, should be greater than Br, should be greater than I. But we are not getting this trend. We are not getting the trend. We are getting the trend as Cl greater than F, greater than Br, greater than I. That means this one is having an highest electron gain enthalpy. Cl is greater than Br, greater than I. Now normal trend should be FCl. For rest of the group you will be getting it as top to bottom electron gain enthalpy. It should decrease, particularly for group 17 or 16. 16 means what we will be having it? 16 we will be having oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium. Again, as per the rules, we should get it as OSSCTE, right? But we are not getting it. We are getting it as SOSCTE. That means our first element is interchanging its position. Now what is the reason behind it? Why the trend has been changed accordingly? Now for it, the reason is given out as the size of the fluorine is very, very small, right? So electrons are very closer towards the nucleus. At the same time, the outermost electron are also closer to one another. They are like charged, so they are having very less space for them, and still the another electron is entering, so there will be a repulsion, and that's the reason why electron gain enthalpy of fluorine decreases. The size of the chlorine, it's an appropriate for the next incoming electron to enter in it and acquire its space, and that's the reason why electron gain enthalpy of chlorine is greater than the fluorine. Over there the answer will be because of atomic size. Same thing you can write it for oxygen and sulfur. We don't go it for the rest of the groups. For the rest of the groups this is not implemented because the size, it's not that much decreasing as that is smaller for oxygen or fluorine, and that's the reason why we get this trend, right? Okay, but here another exception, we wrote it as first exception. Now what is the second exception? Second exception, normally we told that it's an exothermic. In general we wrote that energy is released, but when we are talking about it like beryllium, magnesium or inert gases, for all of them, beryllium, magnesium or inert gases, they gain energy to become negatively charged. That means if I want to add the electron, I need the energy to be given to it so that it becomes Be minus. That means over here delta H is positive. So these are the particular elements which are having an exceptions. Beryllium, magnesium and inert gases, they are endothermic. Rest of the elements are exothermic. We don't go it in the detail for the reason why they are becoming endothermic or exothermic, right? But we can very easily say out. We don't need the reason, but still, for your understanding, we can very easily say out that their outermost electronic configurations are completely filled. They are highly stable. They neither want to gain electron, neither lose electron. Now, how we can say it? See, for beryllium, we are having 1s2, 2s2. Orbital is completely filled. Now, where to add that electron? So, it's a forcefully added. So, energy has to be given. Same way when you write it as Mg, we will be getting it as 3s2. Inert gases, we are going to get it as ns2, np6. Orbitals are completely filled. Because these orbitals are completely filled, they cannot gain the electrons. As a result, they don't have a tendency, and that's the reason why they become positively charged. Right? Is it clear to everyone? Okay, today we did it as in two of the trends. One is ionization energy and one is electron gain enthalpy. Okay, in our next lecture, we will be having it as a last lecture where we will be discussing it as in two other trends. One is related to the electronegativity and the another one is related to the oxidation numbers. Right? Okay, so that means we will be completing our chapter in the next lecture. Thank you.